Hello, my name is Jacob Burgess, and welcome to my UX case study. I did it on a game called Locked In. So, this is my project overview page, and I just explained what my game is on here. So, Locked In is a dice game that is commonly played between me and my good friends. It is played with two dice and has lots of scores that need to be written down. While this game is extremely fun, it is hard to play sometimes due to not having an app that can track scores quickly and roll the dice for you if needed. This project was created to be that app and help people experience Locked In with an easy to use interface. So, I just talked a little bit about the user flow of how I structured my app on this page. So, from the second the user enters the website, I wanted the UI to look very simple and clean for them. So I just wanted to start off with some early concepts of my design, kind of like what I start with, like the wireframes, things like that. So the wireframes are right here, and this shows like three different stages down at the bottom. My wireframes were developed in three different stages. The first stage is a basic idea of what the screen would look like based on the sitemap. The second added several features that came to my mind after creating the first draft. And the final wireframe was an example of what the finished product would look like if it was colorless and devoid of image. And then after this point, I decided to do a usability study for my wireframes just to see how those designs worked. And these were kind of my results over here. So after making a prototype version of the wireframes that could be tested, I created a series of tests to see how effective my designs were up to this point. I conducted these studies on three of my siblings to see what could be improved on my prototype. And the main feedback I received was how confusing the buttons for choosing which physical dice numbers were rolled was. I decided this was the most important takeaway from the testing, other than a few glitches that happened as I went along. So, what was happening is people were kind of like if you rolled a one and a four, they'd be putting them both right here and ignoring this. So, I decided that I needed to fix that in the future so that it wouldn't be as confusing for users. So, then I finally got to the prototype stage. So my low fidelity prototype was made prior to my usability study. I had several screens that I later improved, but it was good enough to get some solid testing done. Within my low fidelity prototype, I added a couple of components. These included buttons with different hover states, several drop down menus, and for the game options screen, different variants to show which dice were being selected, and finally, a 3-bar navigation menu interface. And I just left a link in this presentation so you can kind of view the wireframes for yourself. And then this graphic just shows off where all the different arrows are, kind of going back to that skeleton at the beginning. And then these are all the different components I made, kind of with different hover states. And then these were little menus that you could click on and they drop down and you can make selections. And this was the 3-dot hamburger menu as well. And then I decided to do the high fidelity prototype after this. So after some user testing, I decided that it was finally time to make a surface comp prototype of my design. I updated the physical dice gameplay screen with a new design to not let users get confused by which button to press to input which dice were rolled. I also added a new background with hundreds of little dots to make the design look more futuristic and clean at the same time. I also adapted this design from just a mobile design into a laptop and desktop design. This way you could play the game with no matter which device was available. Then this is my conclusion slide. So this project went through many different stages of development to make the final prototype. Through various drafts of wireframes, different user tests, and many different attempts at creating the best possible interface, it ended with a well-functioning prototype. I'm just a little sad the app hasn't been programmed yet, so me and my friends can't play it quite yet. This project helped me learn many different processes of user testing and Figma abilities that I didn't know before. I was grateful for the learning experiences that helped make my design and skills better by doing this project. In the future, I would like to do some more user testing and make sure that the new physical dice screen works better than before. I also think it would be really cool to get this design programmed and put on the App Store for many people to enjoy. And thank you for listening.